Folks, I'm just going to start doing the review now because that's your ball game. Kate Otten just fumbled at like the 5-yard line, 3.5 minutes left. This ball game's over, okay? Assumedly, the Bucs are going to lose 26-7, okay? I don't feel like analyzing the last 3.5 minutes in terms of a live stream perspective, so we're diving into this now. Shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this review, by the way. Terrible game. Just a terrible, embarrassing loss by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Offensively, defensively, nothing went right for the Bucs today. Be it offensive coaching, defensive coaching, player execution, the Bucs were just beat at every single turn. A lot of people use the term trap game. A lot of people use the term, looking past your opponent. Kind of felt like that was the vibe this week, and it's basically what ended up happening, right? The Bucs got absolutely embarrassed at home by, in my opinion, a not as good football team as them. But look, credit to the Broncos, by the way. They came out there, they showed up, they played, they deserve this win. They deserve this win 100%, right? Cannot say that enough. But the Bucs just absolutely fell flat. They did not show up, and it was bad. It was just a really bad, embarrassing loss, okay? To a team with Bo Nix as their rookie quarterback, the Bucs continued the stretch of making rookie quarterbacks look really good in their opening seasons, and that continued here. You thought kind of that stigma was maybe kicked a little bit with Jaden Daniels week 1 against the Washington Commanders, but reared its ugly head yet again here in this matchup. Bo Nix was 25 of 36, 216 yards. He also had 45 rushing yards and a touchdown. Not a crazy day, but Bo Nix in the Broncos offense was hyper efficient, didn't make any mistakes. The Bucs pass rush got nothing going today. They had 2 quarterback hits today. 2. We'll talk about the Bucs offensive line here in a little bit, but the defense just didn't get enough done. And look, they are so hurt. You're missing Vita Vea, Kalijah Cansey, Antoine Winfield Jr. You missed every bit of those guys in this game. Every single bit of those guys. And I feel like Vita Vea was really a turning point in this one, with him being missed, because no pressure, absolutely no pressure in this game. I don't know what the Bucs are going to do to kind of remedy this problem, but they genuinely do have a pass rushing problem on their hands in terms of getting after the quarterback, sacking the quarterback. They have not been able to do it here consistently through 3 weeks of the season. Something's got to give. Something's got to change here, whatever that may be. And look, Todd Bowles is trying. He is blitzing out of his freaking gourd so far this year, and guys still can't get pressure. So I don't know what the fix is for that, but something's got to change. KJ Britt, just really everybody struggled defensively in this game today. There's really no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, Zon McCollum had a couple of pass deflections. That was nice. Tyke Smith had one pass deflection. That was nice. But aside from that, nobody really played great on the defensive side of the ball today. Like, really, nobody played great. Sean Payton, yes, lost to the Bucs last year, but this year, kind of proved that, he can still coach very well offensively against the Bucs like he has done in the past. But the defense, as not great as the defense was today, it wasn't as bad as the Bucs offense. We'll talk about that in a moment. But folks, again, I do want to say shout out to the sponsor of this review, BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. If you use the YouTube code or the promo code YouTube150, you get a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit and then 125% bonus on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000, guys. I do ask that you guys gamble responsibly. And again, shout out to BetUS Sportsbook and Casino for sponsoring this review. Now back to what the heck I was talking about. The offense. Oh, golly, can we talk about the offense? Bad offensive day for the Bucs. And look, the Broncos have a pretty good defense, okay? You've got some dogs on that defense, okay? PJ Locke is in there. Jonathan Cooper's in there. John Franklin Myers is an interesting pass rusher. Baron Browning's in there. Of course, Patrick Surtain, who contained Mike Evans, by the way, to only 2 catches for 17 yards. So that is what it is. The biggest thing was the offensive line. The offensive line was abysmal. Abysmal today. I mean, absolutely horrible. And I mean everybody was horrible on this offensive line today. Wirf struggled. Graham Barton struggled. Cody Mock and Justin School looked terrible today. Absolutely terrible today. Baker Mayfield was sacked 7 times today. 7. The Broncos had 9 quarterback hits. You need to see this offensive line improve. You've invested so much, right? And look, I'm not saying anybody should be fired. I'm not saying anybody should be benched. You are missing Luke Gedeke at right tackle. That's a pretty big deal. And this game, it mattered last week against the Detroit Lions with Aiden Hutchinson getting 4.5 sacks against Justin School. It mattered this week where, again, Baker was sacked 7 times in this game. But even without Luke Gedeke, look, you still have 4 out of your 5 starters there. This O-line's got to improve going forward. And is that a scheming thing? Is that just an overall execution thing? I don't know. Is it Baker running up into pressure? Maybe it's a mix of things. But this offensive line has to improve some way going forward. Some way going forward because they looked abysmal this week. There's no other way to put it. They looked absolutely terrible this week. Chris Godwin was your leading receiver with 53 receiving yards and 1 touchdown on 9 targets. Cade Otton was number 2 with 47 receiving yards on 8 targets. He did have a fumble. He fumbled right at the end of the game there. One more, by the way, good defensive play for the Bucs was Levante David forced a fumble. It was recovered by Logan Hall. Cool. But Baker Mayfield, 163 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Baker didn't have a lot of time to do anything today. Did he have some miscues? Yes, but his interception was his second worst throw of the year, in my opinion. But man, this guy did not have a lot of time to do anything either. Okay? He just had no time. It was brutal today. That is literally the only way to put it. It was absolutely brutal. It's the only way to look at it. After that, really, besides the Godwin touchdown, the other positive was Bucky Irving. 9 carries, 70 yards, a long of 32. Bucky looks like a guy who should be the starting running back going forward. And that's no disrespect to Rachaad White. He did have 5 catches for 18 yards on 6 targets today. But in terms of a pure runner, Bucky looks like a guy that you should be giving him 20 carries per game. That's just how he looks so far. But aside from Bucky Irving, aside from the Chris Godwin touchdown, aside from the forced fumble by Levante David recovered by Logan Hall, and maybe a couple of pass deflections from Zion McCollum, nothing worked today. The defense let the Broncos be hyper efficient today. The Broncos defense swarmed Baker Mayfield and just absolutely destroyed the Bucs offensive line. It was a horrible game. It was an embarrassing game for the Bucs today. And look, you hope that this is a wake-up call, right? If the Bucs are a good team going forward, these are games that they should win. This looks like a far away, cry from the team that beat the Lions last week in Detroit, right? We talked about this in the preview. These are the types of games you can't overlook. These are the types of games that you need to go out and win if you want to be a top team in this league. And look, I'm not saying the Bucs are cooked. Again, I'm not saying the Buccaneers are a bad, mediocre team. They had a bad week, okay? They had a really bad week against the Denver Broncos. What you hope for in good teams is that they can rebound. You do not have an easy matchup next week against the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, you don't. You need to go out there and win that game next week. I mean, simple as that, right? You need to go out there and win that game if you want to continue to reestablish yourself as a threat in the NFC reestablish yourself as a team that's going to be fighting for that NFC South crown, because this right here, horrible, embarrassing, and hopefully it's a wake-up call. Hopefully it's something that rejuvenizes this team, keeps them back on track, helps them change some things up, and maybe execute better going forward, right? I hope that they hang on to this loss and use it for motivation going forward, because it was a horrible loss. Again, guys, one more time, shout out to BetUS for being the sponsor of this review. It is greatly appreciated. Again, if you use the promo code YouTube150, you get 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit, 125% bonus on your next 2 deposits. That's all if you use the promo code YouTube150. Again, please bet responsibly, guys. But folks, yeah, an embarrassing loss. We'll see if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can rebound here in week 4 versus the Philadelphia Eagles.